So obviously you're suggesting that you're using it for the awareness part of things, and then based upon their interactions, you're going deeper with the very traditional stuff. Do you have any use case, anything? How would you think about building this kind of a video? What's your framework like?
Yeah, so the comedy framework that I learned at Second City is this idea of yes and, which means if you want to go through like a basic improv 101 kind of class, the whole concept of improv is you've got a bunch of people standing around on stage and there is nothing there. There's no set, there's no costumes, there is no script. So you have to make up everything on the spot. And the only way that's possible is with this idea of agreement. Every time somebody throws something at you, when they make a choice, you have to accept it. That's the only rule in improv. If I'm in a scene with you, Saad, and you say, hey, we're on Mars, then we're on Mars. I don't get to change the location. You deal with what has been given you, and you build from that. So for me, I always view short form video as it's not a one-way street. It's not like theater. In theater, the audience is up here on stage, or the audience is down here, and the performers are up on stage, and never shall the two meet. For video content, for social content, that is an eye-to-eye performance. You and your audience are on the same level, and I'm always surveying my audience. I'm always asking them questions. I'm always interacting with content from other players in the space. I'm always crowdsourcing ideas, and that's so I can always start with this idea of truth. I'm starting with something that they believe in true. I'm starting with something that they will recognize as real, a real problem, a real solution, a real situation that they might find themselves in. And the whole Chicago approach to comedy is to play it completely sincerely. Give the audience something more honest than they realize, and in the honesty, in the truth, in the authenticity, that's where the real comedy comes from. And it's this idea of like if you've ever watched Saturday Night Live, a lot of the most famous characters that have ever been created were somebody doing an impression of their dad. And what they teach you to do at Second City is you start with that real thing and you take one aspect of it and you just exaggerate it to comic proportions, and you play the rest of the scene straight. And you never really know where it's going to go, but as long as you follow that rule of telling the truth, that's all you need. And there is a tendency in B2B to overstate the effectiveness of our solutions. There's a tendency to solve for the problem we wish users were having instead of the problems that they're actually having. And I find if you go out there and you really are honest with yourself about what does this situation truly feel like? Can I create some sort of scenario where you watch for 3 seconds and the audience goes, oh, that's me. This is a scene about me. I have been that. Drives me nuts when people have done, I've been in a situation 100 times. Then all of a sudden, they're 3 seconds into the video. They don't know who you are. They don't know that your solution is good for them, but you've pulled them into the story. Now they want to see where it goes because they've identified with this viewpoint that they're seeing, and they're saying, okay, well, this is what I believe. Let's see where it takes me. And, that's the trick of comedy is you always want to surprise them. You want to take them somewhere they don't expect themselves to go. But unless you start with that truth, it's going to ring hollow. And I find in B2B, oftentimes they don't do this critical section of talking to their potential users, having interviews, qualitative research. They just jump straight to I'll ask ChatGPT, what are the 3 most common problems that my audience has? And what do you know? Everybody winds up with the exact same value add, which is we're going to save you time and money, which is nice, but it's a very surface level understanding of the problem. And comedy allows you to go somewhere deeper.